Welcome, it's the Close the Deal show. I'm your host, Terrence McCray, formerly incarcerated. Every week we bring you business information, tips, insights from entrepreneurs, professionals, and inspired individuals from the San Francisco Bay Area and beyond. The Close the Deal show also features public announcements, Entrepreneur Week, and small business. And if you're looking for strategies to help you in business or to educate the public, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about working towards keeping San Francisco clean. And the reason why I say we as residents and former natives of San Francisco who might have left and come back have seen a change in the community. Well, you may not have seen a change, but today's guest is all about change. He's about taking away any type of stigma. He's about showing any tourist that comes to this city what this beautiful city is about. Whether you're in the Mission area, whether you're in Noble Hill, whether you're in Pacific Heights, it doesn't matter. San Francisco is a place where you want to feel comfortable, you want to feel appreciated, but you want to have a good time while you're visiting or while you're living here. And my guest today has done something that I don't find too many people doing in the community unless they are already a part of something. This individual, Jeff Winkle, has not only taken the initiative on his own, but he's told other people about his vision, his goal, and what he would like to do in order to make San Francisco a better place to live. So, ladies and gentlemen of the Close the Deal show, welcome Jeff Winkle. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for the kind intro.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So, could you tell me, how long have you been living in San Francisco?
I've lived here a little bit over 18 months now. So, relatively new.
So, you're not originally from San Francisco?
Not originally from here. Grew up around the Chicago area, went to school in North Carolina, and then just recently ended up here.
So, what brought you here?
I really just wanted to live here. The Bay Area's got a lot to offer. There's nature close by. It's a big city. There's a lot to do. Pretty desirable weather compared to Chicago. And so just wanted to move here and made it happen.
So don't tell me you're a Mork and Mindy fan, are you? Is that what inspired you?
No, can't say that.
What about Full House?
Full House. Who didn't watch Full House? I
Okay.
grew up in the 90s, so I've watched it, but that wasn't the driving reason.
So what is your background profession?
So I work in finance. I studied economics when I was in college. I now work for a Canadian bank. I did consulting before that. And so luckily my job allows me to work from anywhere. And so that was kind of the catalyst for me being able to move here. And then now that I'm here and I'm working remotely in San Francisco, it gives me time and flexibility to work on different projects. And that's what kind of spurred, that's kind of the reason I'm here and spurred the Clean Mission.
Oh, you say spread the clean mission?
Yeah.
Oh, so please tell me, what actually brought you here to talk about the clean mission?
Yeah, so the Clean Mission is an organization that I started shortly after moving here. So like I said, it was about 18 months ago that I moved to San Francisco.
Is it a nonprofit?
It is, it's not a 501c3, but a nonprofit initiative, kind of a grassroots organization.
Okay.
And so I moved here and kind of realized, with like I said, I grew up around Chicago, and so that was kind of my frame of reference as to urban areas, and that was kind of the only city I knew growing up. And in retrospect, Chicago is a relatively clean city. And so I moved here, and shortly after moving here, I noticed, actually really pretty immediately, I noticed the amount of litter and trash that's on the streets of San Francisco. And it just seemed surprising to me with Chicago as a reference and other cities. And so what I was trying to find is somewhere maybe I could volunteer to help improve that issue, organizations that I could get involved with, and didn't really find anything. And so I started asking around. No one really had answers, but people were, kind of joined me in their sympathy for that issue, and a lot of people wanted to get involved themselves, and so I saw people were excited about that issue and trying to do something about it. So I started an organization of my own called the Clean Mission.
Well, how did you come in contact with people that had an opinion about the trash in San Francisco where people were just littering?
Yeah, well, so there were two kind of places that I talked to people. One was just in my everyday life. I met friends, started meeting people, talked to people in the streets, and almost everybody shares the opinion that the city could be cleaner.
Okay.
But the reason I actually started the organization, kind of the last final straw to start it, was a post that I put on Reddit of all places, and I was really just asking, is there something I can get involved with, and if not, how? I was trying to figure out logistically, how am I gonna collect trash, how am I going to dispose of it, and sort it properly, and kind of just the details of what it would be like to start an organization to clean up trash. So it was really just inquisitive on Reddit, and what came of that post was hundreds of comments from people. It got a lot of attention, and people seemed very excited about it. And people said, I don't know of organizations, but I'd get involved with one. And so my thought was, people are excited about it. People are looking for ways to get involved. I'll be the one to start it, and then try and build this kind of infrastructure of volunteers that are willing to help out and clean up the city.
So is that how you recruited people?
Well, so that was kind of the initial base of people, was that Reddit post, and that got actually the attention of local news organizations, and so that spread the word a little bit at the very beginning. But overall, it has been social media that has been the biggest tool for growing this and getting awareness of different types of people around San Francisco, old and young. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, really if you can name a popular social network, we're probably on it, and that's been the big. That's really where I think most people have found out about us, and that's how we're growing, and not only growing through those social networks, but also it's a great tool to keep people involved. And if somebody comes to one event and then they follow us on social media, they're going to find out about future events. We post everything on there, and so it's a good way to keep people active and coming back to the events.
So you're telling me that your strategy in finding a way to get people to not talk about what the problem is in San Francisco over coffee, but you actually posted on social media and got how many hits?
A lot. I mean, we've done tons of posts on social media, and it's growing steadily. It's not like we don't have hundreds of thousands of followers, but it's a good. I think there's a lot of depth in our following, so people that follow us actually care about what we're doing, and so for the amount of followers we have, we get pretty good return to volunteers, and people are generally excited about it.
So what type of people are getting involved? Are they professionals like yourself, or are they already in nonprofit organizations as well?
Yeah, so I'd say largely professionals like myself. We've had people of all ages. We've had young children. We've had elderly people from the city that get involved. I would say it skews relatively young, so I think the events up until now, it's probably been 90% kind of people of the millennial generation, and so young professionals, but it's not necessarily people that are serial activists, right? Like, it's not people that are consistently doing this type of stuff. It's just normal people with normal jobs here in the city, and they want to get involved.
What inspired you, though, to take this initiative?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different issues that kind of keep me up at night, and I feel like I have some sort of duty to be doing something about them.
I hope it's not Trump.
Well, not specifically, but that it brings up a good point that I think we're kind of living in a time where people, especially in San Francisco, feel like they want to get involved and do something, right? Like whether it's political angst or just feeling like there needs to be kind of a lot more good in the world. People are feeling like they want to get involved. I think there's kind of been an increase in people volunteering, partly due to the election of Trump, but just generally, I think it's become more of a popular thing to volunteer and get involved. And so I think that's been a big part of why we've been relatively successful to this point. And I think that's why people come back and get involved. And the great thing about the Clean Mission and what we do is you can make a very immediate impact on your surroundings, right? So if you donate to some causes or you get involved with certain organizations, you may be doing great work volunteering, and you may be making a large impact, but what's great about the Clean Mission is that you immediately see what kind of change you're making, right? So if the neighborhood was dirty at noon, and then we hold a cleanup event and it's cleaner at 3 o'clock, the volunteers can walk away with a sense of accomplishment, and it's a really you kind of get that good feeling of volunteering, and you meet some really cool people. I mean, we have a very, very diverse group of people that come out, and so you get to meet a lot of like-minded individuals, and a lot of people have become friends within our group. So,
well, it sounds like to me you were grown up with a set of morals and values that put you in a position to be a leader. Because if you could get people to take time off their weekend for a few hours, with so many things to go on, it has to be something so good that they feel like it's not even about what am I really getting out of it. It's about they want to pay it forward and give back. So it's something about you that a lot of people are gravitating towards, So my question to you is, who inspired you to be such a good leader?
Well, I think you're right. I think you hit a good point. I owe a lot to my parents and my upbringing, right? My mom has also started various organizations that get people involved in making a difference, and so I think that there is a little bit of that growing up on it and already just having a sense of that. But I feel like generally throughout my life, I've had a certain amount of just generally privilege that I'm well aware of at this point in my life. And so I think my personal thought on it is that if I have the ability to do something to try and make a change, then I almost have an obligation or a responsibility to do it, or at least try to do it, right? So that's kind of the whole point behind this is let me start something and let me try to improve some problem that we have, and just see where it goes. And so that's been the whole reason behind it.
So with the Clean Mission, what is your projected goal 2 years from now and where you want to be?
We want to continually grow the events that we're doing now. So just to give a little bit of context in case it hasn't been clear, what we've been doing since the beginning is holding frequent volunteer cleanup events. And so we'll set a date. For example, we have an event tomorrow in the Mission District of San Francisco.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Yep. And you've been to events before, which has been awesome, and we appreciate that. So we'll set an event, and then we'll publicize it, try to get volunteers to come, and we provide supplies. We provide, bags, garbage bags, gloves, garbage pickers, and everything you would need to clean up. And then we just take the group and kind of spread out and cover as much territory as we can to pick up trash around the neighborhood.
So have you ever decided to collaborate with Public Works?
We actually do have a collaboration currently with Public Works. They've been actually really great. So they provide us with supplies, which has been really helpful. But more than that, they take care of a lot of logistical aspects of what we do. And so when we hold an event, we may pick up, just for example, 30 bags full of trash. what they help out with is, at the end, we can leave all of that trash in a particular location, and then I'll coordinate with Public Works to come pick up all of that trash, and then they take it to a Recology plant, which has the main garbage contract with the city. And once it gets to Recology, then they sort it between compost, garbage, recycling. And so working with them has been huge to ensure that what we're actually picking up is done sustainably, and that if there's things that are recyclables, they're getting recycled. Same with compost. And so Department of Public Works has been really good helping us out.
Do you think that if you brought youth on board, that could be a good look for Clean Mission as well? It can generate more numbers in the volunteer service? Because being the fact that I've had the opportunity to participate, it's been more of adults. So are you just strictly focused on adults, or would you like youth to get involved?
We would like youth to get involved. There's definitely whatever age you are, whoever you are, you're welcome to come out. It's a great point, though. We've actually been thinking a lot recently about how can we, maybe get in touch with high schools and have classes involved. Same with colleges in San Francisco. A lot of those students actually not only want to get involved, but some of them they're actually required to complete volunteer work.
Correct.
Right? And so I think that would be really good, for getting more people out, to your point, but additionally, especially if it's local San Francisco students or children, it'll just be a positive impact towards their mentality of the city, right? So I think a big contributing factor to why there's so much trash on the street is because it kind of perpetuates itself. If there's already trash on the streets, some people just have the mentality like, what's one more coffee cup that I'm going to throw on the ground?
Correct.
What's one more piece of trash, right? And then on top of that, a lot of people that are locals have grown up with this state of the streets their entire life, and they've never really known anything differently here, especially in the Mission District. And so I think having younger people come out, they'll kind of see like, okay, when you throw something on the street, somebody actually has to pick that up eventually, and it doesn't have to be the way it is in San Francisco. And so I think that would be huge in a lot of ways to get younger people out.
Well, actually, I believe what you're doing right now helps other organizations to understand that you can come up with an idea and solve a problem with the solution that you believe that can work, right? You came up with more than just an idea. You came up with a solution by just asking people, if you want to make a difference, right, just devote some time. So if you were to go to high schools, I'm quite sure there are people who are willing to devote their time without looking for something in return, because that would be something that a lot of sponsors would probably be on board with in order to, quote unquote, get whatever they're trying to get out there marketing wise. So it's a likelihood this is going to continue on further than you can ever imagine, where you're going to possibly be employing people in the years to come because of the goodness that you're doing and what you're trying to show people. If you live in San Francisco, why would you not want it clean?
Completely agree. I think clean streets are better than dirty, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Jeff, I find amazing that you're able to gather all these people up. People that you've never met, people that you may work with, and say, something, let's be about change and keeping San Francisco clean. Because public workers can only do so much.
Right.
They can only do so much. And a lot of times I see them out there when they're doing an event, mm-hmm. and they have to put the gates up, and they got to make sure they clean that up and any other trash, street sweepers. But when the epidemic of homelessness mm-hmm. in the area, you just see more than just trash out there. You see defecation, you mm-hmm. see people just, graffiti on the wall. So, you know, that plays a role too. Have you ever thought about also wiping graffiti off besides trash?
We have. So yeah, Public Works has a lot of different kind of responsibilities under their domain, right? And so it's a good point that they have a lot to focus on, and they're kind of at the mercy of how funds are allocated as well. Homelessness is a huge part of the budget, trying to tackle that issue, rightfully so. So yeah, we've thought about graffiti on the walls. We've also in the past we've been encouraged also to kind of sweep the streets and make other cosmetic changes, right? Which all are very good. My thought is that there's so much just loose trash and debris on the streets that's kind of the first issue that has to be tackled, right? Like when there's that much topical garbage, even just cleaning that up would go a long way to the perception of the streets and just feeling cleaner. And then the graffiti is an issue as well, but I almost in my mind kind of put it in tiers and think of the graffiti as almost like a secondary thing, especially in the Mission District where there's so much incredible street art, that some of the graffiti is almost indistinguishable at points, right? And so I almost look at that as a separate issue, but you're right, also one that has to be tackled eventually.
Well, how can people get in contact with you?
There's a lot of different ways. So I would recommend following on social media. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook is @CleanMissionSF. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Nextdoor, Meetup, Eventbrite, pretty much anywhere. But Instagram and Twitter are probably the top ways to stay in touch. So.
Well, Jeff, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And sharing not only your mission, but the importance of making a difference.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Before we close this deal, we would love to hear from you on the Close the Deal show. Also, if you are interested to purchase a fixed index annuity from National Life Group by learning the 10 top reasons, and the reason why I say National Life Group, you have an independent agent by the name of Sheila L. Tyson who can share this information with you. You can reach her at 647-0641 at area code 707 if you want to be educated on this information. If you have suggestions, questions, or even want to apply to be a guest on the Close the Deal show, you can contact us at www.theclosethedealshow.com. San Francisco Bay Area viewers, you can watch us every Monday night on cable Comcast on channel 29 at 8:30 p.m. Worldwide, you can go to the YouTube channel on the Close the Deal show. Click my name, Terrence McCray, like my picture, please subscribe, and also like this show. Take good care, everyone, and don't forget, find the right connection and close the deal.